It's cold. Not just normal winter cold, but a deep, biting chill that creeps into your bones and refuses to leave. Last night, the sky flashed white, and in an instant, everything changed. No warning, no time to panic. Now your house is all you have. The grid is dead, and outside your window, the world is silent, gray, and frozen. You glance at your stack of canned food, your bottled water, and wonder, is it enough? Will it keep you going when the sun hasn't shone for weeks, when the wind sounds wrong, and the cold is sharper than anything you've ever felt? Most survival guides start with the same checklist: food, water, first aid. But a real nuclear winter isn't about checklists. The blast might be over, but surviving the cold, the hunger, the darkness, that's the long game. Today, we're not talking about bunkers, hazmat suits, or shiny gear only billionaires can afford. We're talking about survival with what you actually have at home. 5 forgotten preps that almost nobody considers, but missing even one could be the difference between surviving and hoping you do. The first threat is cold. It kills faster than radiation, faster than hunger. A nuclear winter doesn't just darken the world, it plunges it into an apocalyptic deep freeze. Even if you live somewhere that never sees snow, piling blankets and lighting a few candles won't cut it. When the grid's dead and the furnace is silent at 2 a.m., that jacket you left in storage becomes more precious than gold. You need to create a microclimate. Pick a small interior room away from exterior walls, a closet, a bathroom, a hallway, and block doors and windows with blankets, towels, even mattresses. If you want to go pro, put up a tent inside the room or build a fort under a table with more blankets. This tiny bubble traps your body heat. Cuddle with your family, pets included. It might not feel dignified, but it will feel warmer, sometimes by several degrees, the difference between shivering all night and getting real. Sleep. Layering clothes isn't about style, it's survival. T-shirts, long sleeve sweaters, jackets, hats, scarves, and trap air wherever you can. Shove crumpled newspapers or paper bags between layers. Wrap towels around your neck and head. If you have a wood stove, use it safely, ventilating at least one window. Carbon monoxide is just as deadly as the cold. If you don't, improvise with clay pot candle heaters, hot rocks, or huddle near a lantern. Hot food and drinks matter. Instant soups, hot water bottles, even tap water in bottles. These are lifesavers. And yes, keep winter boots, hats, gloves, and sleeping bags rated for freezing temperatures. Warm feet and hands aren't luxury, they're survival. Cold is just the beginning. Nutrition silently becomes a killer. Imagine surviving on a year's worth of rice and beans. That's not enough. When the sun vanishes behind nuclear dust, vitamin D production stops, and fresh fruits or vegetables disappear. Scurvy and rickets aren't threats in normal times, but in prolonged darkness, they silently attack. Stockpile multivitamins now, especially D and C. Chewable tablets, drink mixes, whatever keeps you alive. Sprouting beans, lentils, mung, or wheat in jars gives fresh vitamin C in under a week. Your body burns more energy in the cold, and protein and fat are harder to find than carbs. Peanut butter, canned fish, dried meat, pemmican, hard wheat, manual grinders, and seeds for planting become essential. Don't just count calories, count nutrition. Weak bodies can't fight cold or disease, and weak minds make bad decisions. Hygiene and sanitation are often ignored until it's too late. Water pressure drops, toilets fail, and disease becomes a silent enemy. Set up an emergency toilet, 5-gallon bucket, trash bags, kitty litter, shredded paper. Line everything, bag everything. Use duct tape to seal cracks, patch holes, wrap trash bags over contaminated areas. Focus on personal hygiene even when water runs out. Hand sanitizer, alcohol. Wipes, soap, sponges, and baking soda are lifesavers. Keep gloves, cleaning rags, and feminine hygiene products stocked. Expect pests, rats, mice, roaches. Keep food sealed and waste areas sanitized. Burn candles to help repel bugs. Save at least one clean set of clothes or fresh socks. Morale counts. Feeling clean, even slightly, can make all the difference. Fallout isn't over. The initial blast might be gone, but the dust outside is still deadly. One breath, one sip of contaminated water, and it's inside you. Tape plastic over vents and windows. Wear a mask, scarf, or poncho if you must venture out, and protect your eyes with goggles. Use the golden rules: time, distance, and shielding. The first 48 hours are critical. Fallout loses danger slowly. Time reduces exposure. Stay as far from exterior walls as possible. Pile heavy objects like books, furniture, or filled bags against walls for shielding. A Geiger counter or dose meter is invaluable, but if you don't have one, a homemade fallout meter works too. Keep potassium iodide pills on hand. They fill your thyroid with iodine and can drastically reduce your cancer risk. Patience is your friend. Don't leave the house just because you're bored. Finally, the human factor, mindset, morale, and community. Food, warmth, and water keep you alive, but morale and connection keep you staying alive. Small comforts, a deck of cards, a notebook, coloring, a favorite snack, can keep spirits high. Light is hope. A single candle gives enough light to read for hours. Communication is sanity. Hand crank radios, battery radios, two-way radios. Make routines, meals, chores, exercise, checking radios, marking days on the wall. Celebrate small victories. And don't try to go solo. Humans survive together. Share food, skills, and security. Trade medicine, clear snow together, set watches. Build trust and cooperation. Survival isn't just about enduring, it's about thriving together. After a week, things run out, supplies dwindle. The cold doesn't. Ease. The darkness feels endless. But hope remains. History proves it. People survived worse. You don't need a billionaire's bunker to outlive the cold, the hunger, and the silence. You need a plan, essential supplies, and the will to fight for another day, even when the only sound you hear is your own breath. Trap warmth, stockpile vitamins, manage hygiene, shield from fallout, build morale and community. Stay sharp, stay kind, stay alive. Now it's your turn. Look at what you have. Pick one prep you're actually going to do today, not tomorrow. Share your own survival hacks with others. They might save someone's life. Nuclear winter comes, but it also goes. And when it does, you'll be ready. The world outside is frozen, silent, and gray, but inside your home, the battle has just begun. You've trapped your warmth, layered your clothes, and stocked some vitamins. But survival isn't just about what you have. It's about how you live every moment. When the sun doesn't rise, time starts to blur. Days melt into nights, and the simplest tasks become mountains. Your mind fights fatigue, your body craves heat, and every decision feels heavier than it should. This is the hidden challenge of a nuclear winter, the slow erosion of strength, sanity, and hope. Every morning you wake to the same gray light, or no light at all, and you realize that your normal routines are gone. You check your supplies, the canned food, the water, the emergency stove. They feel fragile now, like they could disappear with one mistake. But this is where resilience starts. You ration intelligently, not sparingly. You rotate food, prioritize nutrition, and make every calorie count. You plan meals around warmth and energy, not just hunger. You melt snow if you have to, filter it, and make it drinkable. Every drop matters. The cold doesn't just bite your skin, it attacks morale. Shivering, stiff, and hungry, you realize that mental endurance is as critical as physical. Tiny victories become monumental. A warm meal, a dry set of clothes, a successful sprouting of beans or lentils. These are lifelines. Light becomes hope. One candle can make a room feel like the sun is still shining. One shared story or laugh can keep despair from taking over. This is the survival trick most people forget. You cannot survive the cold alone, and you cannot survive the silence without mental fuel. Hygiene and sanitation are no longer conveniences. They are shields. Dirty hands, unwashed bodies, or stagnant waste can turn a minor setback into a fatal event. You improvise. A 5-gallon bucket with bags and kitty litter becomes your bathroom. Trash is sealed, surfaces wiped with bleach or alcohol, and clothes rotated. Simple measures protect you from disease. Every layer of cleanliness buys you another day, another week. And while the world outside is hostile, your microcosm inside your home becomes a sanctuary if you protect it with discipline. Fallout is still a threat. Dust on surfaces, ash in the air, invisible danger in every breath. You don't take chances. Masks, goggles, improvised protective clothing all become extensions of your body. You monitor radiation if you can, keep potassium iodide at the ready, and avoid unnecessary exposure. Every trip outside is calculated, measured, and limited. Time, distance, and shielding aren't just theory. They're survival law. A pile of books, furniture, or sandbags between you and the outside can literally save your life. You move slowly, deliberately, knowing that impatience is the deadliest enemy. But the most critical challenge is human. Alone, survival becomes exhausting, almost impossible. With others, it becomes achievable, even sustainable. Cooperation replaces fear. Shared tasks, mutual protection, and communication keep people alive and sane. You organize chores, rotate watches, and check on each other. You trade skills, medicine, and knowledge. You make rules for fairness and survival, because chaos is always waiting to take advantage of. Weakness and hope, you cultivate it intentionally. Light, laughter, stories, and small comforts are weapons against despair. They are as essential as food and water. Weeks pass, supplies dwindle. Fatigue weighs heavily, yet you adapt. The microclimate keeps you alive. Nutrition keeps your body strong. Hygiene keeps disease away. Radiation precautions protect your organs. And morale keeps your mind sharp. This is the rhythm of survival. Structured, deliberate, conscious. Every decision is critical, and every small victory compounds into endurance. You realize that survival isn't about heroics. It's about discipline, foresight, and cooperation. It's about living each day with intention, even when the world outside is stopped. And through it all, you remember that the nuclear winter is temporary. Time will pass, the sun will return, and eventually life outside your home will resume. But when it does, you will be ready. You will not just survive. You will emerge stronger, more aware, and more resilient than you imagined. Every lesson, every improvised hack, every act of cooperation has built a foundation for the future. You realize that nuclear winter isn't just about enduring the cold and darkness. It's about discovering what humans are truly capable of when forced to adapt, to endure, and to care for each other. The world has changed, but so have you. And when the first light finally breaks through the gray, you will be standing, ready, alive, and human. Not because you were the strongest or the luckiest, but because you prepared, adapted, and never gave up. As days turn into weeks, survival becomes more than managing food, water, and warmth. It becomes about routine, rhythm, and resilience. The initial shock fades, but the cold doesn't. It settles into your bones, and fatigue gnaws at your mind. You start noticing things you never did before. The subtle drafts under the door, the tiny creaks of your shelter, the way shadows seem to stretch longer in the absence of sunlight. Every detail matters. Small mistakes now carry heavy consequences. Your diet is no longer about pleasure, it's strategy. You measure calories, rotate supplies, and monitor nutrition. Sprouts, canned fish, peanut butter, even small amounts of chocolate. They all become precious energy sources. You realize quickly that protein and fat are survival currency, not luxury. Carbs keep your body moving, but fat keeps it alive, fueling your core temperature and brain function. You ration intelligently, not miserably. Every meal has a purpose. Survival, not comfort. Hygiene evolves into a mental and physical shield. The cold and darkness make disease a silent predator. Hand sanitizer, improvised wipes, and boiled water become your tools against invisible threats. You learn to manage waste meticulously. Bucket toilets, sealed bags, makeshift systems to prevent contamination. Every act of cleanliness is a declaration of life, a subtle but profound defiance against decay. Outside, the world is a muted, frozen wasteland, and the threat of fallout lingers like a shadow. You protect yourself with ingenuity. Plastic sheeting over vents, improvised suits from trash bags, and every layer of clothing becomes armor. Radiation isn't a dramatic explosion. It's invisible, patient, and lethal. Time, distance, and shielding are your commandments. You position yourself strategically in your shelter, far from exterior walls, under layers of mass, counting every minute of exposure. Each calculated step reduces danger and prolongs life. But as critical as supplies and protective measures are, the human factor is what defines your survival. Loneliness is a predator almost as deadly as the cold. Mental fatigue sets in, routines become monotonous, and despair can creep silently. You combat it with structure, daily schedules, small goals, shared responsibilities. You maintain social bonds, check on neighbors, and share small victories. Communication becomes a lifeline, a hand crank radio. Even static connects you to the wider world. It reminds you that you are not alone, that survival is a collective effort, and that the world, though frozen, is still moving. Morale is power. One warm cup of soup, one shared story, one laugh at an absurdity. These moments become lifeboats in a sea of uncertainty. Children require special attention. Routines preserve their sense of safety. Even small gestures like folding laundry, tidying a corner, or marking days on a wall reinforce the structure of life when the world outside has none. Hope is deliberate now, not accidental. It's nurtured with intention, a skill as important as insulation or vitamins. You also learn the art of improvisation. Wood stoves, clay pot heaters, and hot rocks become tools not just of warmth, but of survival ingenuity. Candles provide light and hope. Every creative solution becomes a lifeline. You adapt furniture, spaces, and items to serve new purposes, turning ordinary household objects into extraordinary survival tools. The mundane becomes vital, and attention to detail is the difference between comfort and crisis. As the weeks stretch further, the psychological challenge intensifies. Fear and patience battle constantly. You notice how others cope. Some collapse into despair, others lash out, and a few adapt quietly. You realize that survival isn't about fighting the cold or the hunger. It's about managing yourself, your mindset, and your community. Cooperation now outweighs individual heroics. Teams form naturally. Skills, knowledge, and leadership emerge organically. Those who work together build micro-societies capable of withstanding weeks of darkness, cold, and scarcity. And in these long, gray weeks, you discover the subtle victories. Water stored properly doesn't run out. Food is rotated before it spoils. Layers of insulation keep sleep possible. Small routines, stretching, cleaning, checking on others, become anchors in a drifting world. Every day survived is a testament to planning, foresight, and ingenuity. Survival becomes less about what you have and more about what you do consistently. Then one morning, or perhaps it's afternoon, you've lost track. The light begins to shift. A faint glow creeps through the gray. The nuclear winter isn't over yet, but the moment signals a shift. You are still here. You've endured, adapted, and survived. Weeks of relentless cold, darkness, and uncertainty have honed every skill, every instinct. You have learned the hard lessons that no textbook could teach, mastered the routines that separate life from death, and built a microcosm capable of sustaining you even when the world outside is lost. And as the first real rays of sunlight finally cut through the ashen sky, you understand this truth. Survival isn't about waiting for the world to return to normal. It's about becoming ready to thrive before the world is ready for you. You are alive, you are capable, you are human. And in that you find the ultimate victory, the ability to endure, to adapt, and to rise, no matter how long the winter lasts.